Good evening and salutations, my Y&R fans. Okay, so let's start off with this Lily and Devon scene. Lily, throughout this episode, annoyed me, right? Because Devon and eventually Billy asked her the same thing: Are you in or are you out? And Lily has concerns about, maybe if I stay with you, you have a history of being a control freak and how much freedom would I have over here as opposed to if I work with Billy. Um, the problem is the original plan was for Lily to sit there and go with Billy, do their own company, and then come back. Okay, but then she started sitting there saying that she had hiccups because of Jill and her feelings for Jill, and I felt like that was an excuse. Felt like there was an excuse because she was just very undecided. Yeah, I get that she, feels kind of guilty, but at the end of the day, bro, you're a businesswoman. Okay? It shouldn't be that hard and take that long to sit there and make a business decision. You're not just some like intern or whatever. You run companies. This is, what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand why it is taking her so long. Now, Yvonne annoyed me a little bit because one of the things he sat there and said was, I pulled the trigger on this whole separation of companies because I thought you was going to, you're going to sit there and work with us. And I'm like, that's not why you did that. You didn't do that so she can work with you. You did it because you didn't like working with Billy. You didn't like working with Billy. You you didn't like working with Billy and dealing with all that, and that's why you separated. In all reality, I don't understand why he's fighting so hard to keep Lily. Okay, because in reality, there was one point where they had this fight and everything like that, and it felt like he was somewhat happy about running a company by himself. I mean, hell, that's what he was doing from jump. He was sitting there running a company by himself. So why is he sitting there trying to fight so hard to get her back? And even she sat there and said, we had problems working together before because you don't always know how to, work with other people. Now she does one up saying Billy, and Billy's like, all right, so what are we doing? Are you in or you out? And finally she's like, you know what? Yeah, I'll sit there and work with you. Which, okay, fine. But my issue is like, you couldn't be honest with him from the beginning. I felt like she wanted to work with Billy from get go. She did all this whole, I don't know, give me time, give me this, give me that. It's like, bro, it's not hard. What do you want to do? You was going back and forth with Billy. You were being indecisive with Devon. Just make a goddamn choice already. Now, Nate comes back and Nate's like, all right, so what's going on? And Devon is like, most likely we're going to probably have to run the company without her, which in all reality, I don't think that that's the worst thing that could wind up happening. When you start to think about it, a lot of people kept saying, you know what, you should just not even bother to merge the companies in the first place. Just do your own thing or whatever, and that would have been it. Instead of you trying to work with your sister and partner this whole thing up, you know. Which I thought the partnership was probably really great because they made more money, and it only failed because people just they couldn't put their personal issues aside to run the damn company. Now, Victoria, the kids, Johnny and Katie, talk to Billy for a little bit, see Chelsea, and they go to the bar, right? Johnny's not there worried about Chelsea because, her history and everything like that. Katie has been getting on my goddamn nerves since she got back, up until the point where I'm just like, can y'all just send her back to boarding school? I mean, I know it's summer vacation, but I'm pretty sure, you know, some of the kids probably stay there and they do activities or something like that. Just send her ass back there, right? Because there's a point where they see um, Claire and Harris, and she starts acting her usual bratty ass ways. Up until a point where even Johnny's like, "Yo, what is your problem?" Like this is. And I sat there and I thought to myself, I was like, "Wow, you didn't listen to a damn thing that Victor said, did you?" It just literally went in one ear and out the other. You couldn't grasp that simple concept of Victor Smith there saying, "When I grew up without love. I grew up in an orphanage." Okay, she had a very rough life. The only thing I'm Smith is saying is, can you sit there and start to try to give her a chance? And it just went right out the goddamn window. Now, at some point, Harrison comes over with flowers, and Katie's like, "Oh, well, did Claire put you up to this?" I was like, "Can you just please send this chick back to boarding school?" Like, I don't have the patience for that. I know a lot of people's like, they're really loving it, they're really enjoying it, they're really enjoying the pushback and everything like that. I'm just so goddamn done, and we're just so tired of it. I just, I don't have patience for that. So eventually, Harris was like, "No, I just did it because you look like you were sad or whatever." And finally, Katie got with the goddamn program and was like, "All right, let's go get some ice cream." And she takes Claire's arm or whatever. And so they go to get ice cream off screen because, well, apparently they don't have money for an actual whole park. But I was like, it's about goddamn time that she got with the program because that is really starting to just irk me after a while. Um, so that happens. Now, Billy and Chelsea are talking about Connor, and Sally and Adam are talking about her new. Well, Sally's talking about her new profession. Adam is just hella guilt ridden. At some point, they all meet up at Society. And so I was like, "Hey, why don't you sit there and join us?" So they talk about Connor for a little bit, um, up until a point where the doctors call and they have good news. That Connor's turned a corner and they want to sit there and talk to Connor, but they hug each other, right? And both Billy and Sally just look at that and they're just like, mm-hmm. Like, hey, listen, you're dating somebody who has kids with somebody else, okay? That's something that you're just gonna have to sit there and deal with it. Just saying. Um, so anyway, they leave, and again, it they're talking, Sally and Billy are talking about how great the news is, but they both just have this whole like they weren't feeling that. They really weren't feeling that. And yeah, they're happy about their son and stuff like that, but then they weren't feeling that. And what happens if you date somebody who has kids with somebody else? Um and before anyone sits there and says, "No, I'm not," it's not a dig or anything like that, but that's the reality of the situation. You know, they have a kid and they're going through something. They're going to be their united front as they should. But that's something where it's like it will make it will make people uncomfortable to date somebody who has kids with someone else because they're always going to have that connection, and that doesn't always set right with other people. So they have their talk with Connor, and he talks about how he's turned the corner and he's fighting back and he has a breakthrough. And you know, is that great news? Yes. But, for me with the writers, it's like they could sit there and decide another 2 weeks. Oh, he had a setback and it's all over again. And so, part of me is just like, I want to sit there and be like, well, that's good. I'm glad that everything is, working out and a lot better. But sometimes these writers just have a way of being like, no, we're going to find a way to um, make them go through something horrible, and then they're back to the self-loathing and everything like that. So I just, I've honestly checked out of this story because of the back and the forth and just the repetitive repetitiveness of it all. Hopefully, it can kind of stay that way, but time will tell. Anyway, I'm not gonna lie. I think that's actually about it. I haven't done the wine or reviews in a hot minute. I miss doing them. I did. I really do. Um, If you could share the video, my Y&R video sometimes does not always get. Um, I was gonna sit there and say a certain amount of love like the other videos, but I know people. I know people do like the Y&R reviews. So yeah, if you can share the videos, share the video. That would definitely help. I said in my other videos, so I'll sit there and say it in this one. I'm not going to do a live stream tonight. I got to wake up super early, and um, I'd rather just be more focused on the live stream than I would be on the clocks and that they'd be like, oh, it's time to go to bed soon. So that's the reason why I actually went up doing all four of the reviews. Um, yeah, usually if I do all four of the reviews, 9 times out of 10 is because I'm not going to do a live stream unless the videos come out a lot earlier. Then it's just me having some extra time. But if you're unsure, always just check the community tab. I always like to sit there and update my subscribers, anyone who's watching the videos, about what's going on. So if you're unsure about anything, if I'm coming on tonight, if I'm going to come on late or whatever it is, check the community tab because I always sit there and post in the community tab. Except that one time I got really, really drunk, um, which was clearly not a good idea. But anyway, always check the community tab because that's where we always sit there and update people on what's going on. Anyway, with that being said, if I missed anything, let me know. And write in the comment section, and we'll talk about it tomorrow. You know the usual time. And if you're not sure, just check the community tab again.